Coming up on DITV, we provide a recap of the What About Men Summit.
And later, we'll inform you on what you might have missed at the Student Health Fair.
We have a very special Matt Side preview show coming up.
So be sure to stick around for our predictions from the Big Ten Wrestling Tournament.
Clouds, rain, and sunshine, find out more on weather.
We've got all that more coming right up.
So stay where you are. DITV starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. I'm Kaylin Cluck.
And I'm Sydney Zatz.
We begin with news that there were no shots in fact fired from a University of Iowa dorm. A hawk alert notified people late last night that loud bangs were heard at Courier Residence Hall. Officers responded and were at the scene immediately around 11:50 p.m. Police officers determined that no shots were fired and announced the hall was clear. Stick with DITV as further information develops.
There remains plenty of anxiety and angst resulting from the school shooting in Florida from 2 weeks ago.
That's right, Sydney. And multiple large businesses are changing their policies for gun sales. DITV News' Ethan Gutstein is in the studio with more. Ethan?
Thanks, guys. The topic of gun control and sales seems it'll stay in the news for a while. Dick's Sporting Goods, United States' largest sporting goods store, has announced it'll stop selling assault rifles like the one used in the Parkland school shooting last month. Also, the company stated the raise of the minimum age of gun sales to 21. Walmart has made a similar change in gun sale policy by raising the minimum age for firearm purchase to 21. A recent CNN poll has found 70% of Americans are in favor of stricter gun laws. Even President Donald Trump is pushing to raise the minimum age to purchase a rifle from 18 to 21. He is also a proponent of expanding background checks. We'll keep you posted at DITV with all the latest gun and rifle news, as it shows no sign of slowing down. Kaylin and Sydney, back to you guys at the desk.
And we apologize for those technical difficulties, but not having technical difficulties is Film Scene. The local nonprofit movie theater will be showing exclusively female-directed films throughout March. The month-long program in Film Scene is celebrating accomplishments of women in film in light of industry issues. Movies being shown include Clueless, Lost in Translation, and A League of Their Own. The conversations are part of a program featuring Skype interviews and Q&A sessions. There is more than 40 films in the schedule.
After Class hosted a speaker to discuss how masculinity impacts a violent culture. DITV News reporter Samantha Oswick went to the event and tells us more.
The Iowa Memorial Union hosted a series of seminars called What About Men? This event was organized by the After Class program, discussing many issues related to manhood and the ways men can help recognize these issues to create a societal change. The keynote speaker, Brian K. Smith, an established author, discussed how the idea of manhood is created through development, groups, and violence, a system in which he believes has ultimately failed them. After the event ended, I asked a student who attended what he thought about the lecture.
The seminar today was very informative, and it really brought to light some of the issues that the men were going through today. I really liked that the author kind of related to the audience and incorporated everyone that was there.
Really great perspective into the issues of manhood that are generally overlooked by our society. Issues that we typically don't think about, and it turned out a huge crowd. From the Iowa Memorial Union, I'm Samantha Ostwick for DITV.
Sorry again about those technical difficulties. Kaylin, it is absolutely beautiful outside.
I know. I love waking up in the morning to the sun shining through my window. And Gus is in the weather studio to tell us more about what we can expect. Gus?
Thanks, guys. Be prepared for every type of weather this week. Beginning today, the temperature will reach a high of 48 degrees, and by nightfall, the temperature will plunge to 23 degrees. So I recommend dressing warm if you choose to go out tonight. Now let's take a look at our extended forecast. Tomorrow, the temperature will be in the 40s, with the evening being in the 20s. Temperatures will rise on Saturday to the 50s, but in the evening, it will dip into the low 30s. The warm weather will continue into Sunday with a peak of the upper 50s, along with partly cloudy skies in the evening. The temperature will lower to the 40s finally Monday. Will make us realize we still live in Iowa, as the nice weather will be put on hold. The temperature will be back in the 40s with a 90% chance of rain at night. It'll lower to the 30s as spring rolls around. So I recommend owning a pair of rain boots and umbrella. That's your weather for this week. Kaylin, Sydney, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gus. The University of Iowa's Visual Arts Building has been named a top new university structure. Architectural Digest lists the Visual Arts Building with 8 other buildings, including ones from Duke, Columbia, and Penn. The magazine has described the building as, quote, a series of boxes stacked haphazardly on top of one another, 3 deep, and within each cube-like window scattered about, end quote. The 126,000 square foot structure has room for over 1,000 students studying art, history, art education, and studio arts.
And the annual Student Health Fair took place with many stands giving unique health advice. DITV News reporter Jahisha Thomas tells us more.
The CRWC hosted the Student Health Fair Wednesday afternoon, where students were able to engage and learn about different health techniques which could be beneficial to them in the future.
Alright, so at this booth we have a self-care technique table. What people do is write down a self-care technique that they'd like to implement. Maybe it's something that they've learned while they were at the health fair. They write it down and they put it on here and they can win prizes. This whole fair is just to help people be aware of things that they can do to take care of their bodies and just be healthier.
Students rallied to fill out forms and get the intel on how to better and curb their college habits, and even able to get an oral insight into a cleaner lifestyle.
And we are here today talking about oral hygiene and raising some awareness about some everyday items that actually don't contribute to oral health but can have the opposite effect. So we've been handing out lots of toothbrushes to students, staff and faculty, and then letting people know how much sugar is in a lot of the drinks that people drink every day, so that hopefully we can decrease the sugar and then decrease the negative effects on teeth as well.
It truly was a fantastic and successful event, and learning that one bottle of Mountain Dew contained 77 grams of sugar was enough for me to sign up for more information. From the CRWC, this is Jahisha Thomas with DITV.
And Sydney, I am so excited that men's basketball pulled off the win against Illinois last night.
And we have the Big Ten tournament coming up with wrestling. We have Jim and Bo in the sports studio to tell us more. Guys?
That's right, guys. The men's basketball team able to get that first round win last night in the Big Ten tournament, and they looked pretty good doing it.
Jordan Bohannon dropped 25 points last night, and the team was, as a whole, grabbed boards like crazy, out-rebounding Illinois 40-20. The Hawks will move on to play Michigan this afternoon at 1:30.
But the show today is not for basketball. I've been waiting all semester long to do a wrestling mat side show during the morning broadcast, so we've got a great one lined up for you this morning. Jim and I are headed to East Lansing this weekend for the tournament.
Yeah, should make for a fun weekend. It will be my first time covering a Big Ten tournament. It will be a first for a couple of Iowa wrestlers. We caught up with them earlier this week to see how some of the young guns are dealing with the pressure.
I mean, I don't really get nervous like now. Maybe the day before, maybe the day of. I'm not even sure. Sometimes it's not too bad. I'm just more excited and nervous, really, just to go out there and wrestle on that big of a stage and compete hard with awesome opponents.
Yeah, I mean, there's always nerves there. It's good nerves though, good nervous energy. You know, if you're not nervous, do you care? You know, so obviously being nervous, it propels you to move forward and face the fear head on and put your best out there. And that's what we're trying to do here.
I'm not nervous. I mean, I've been doing this my whole life, and so have my teammates. I mean, it's obviously my first Big Ten tournament, but I mean, we've been in tournaments all our lives, and we got to look at it that. I mean, everyone's human, and we're going to go out there and take them on no matter who it is.
Wow, Marinelli is an absolute stone. Still haven't been able to get him to crack a smile yet this year.
Yeah, even Sorensen said he was feeling some nerves.
All right, so we gave you a look inside some of the wrestlers' heads leading up to the Big Ten tournament. Let's break down Iowa's top contenders by weight class. burned his red shirt in March and hasn't lost since, racking up 5 pins and 5 tech falls this year to earn him the number 2 seed, right behind Rutgers' Nick Suriano.
Then at 149, the perennial All-American Brandon Sorensen. The senior has had a great season so far. The only blemish on his record coming from number 1 ranked Zane Rutherford from Penn State. Sorensen also picked up the number 2 seed in the tournament, and this looks like a collision course for a Sorensen-Rutherford rematch. Sorensen's never been able to top the Zane train, but we might just see an upset this weekend in the championships.
Moving on to 157, Michael Kemmerer in a similar situation. He shared the 1 seed with Penn State's Jason Nolf, but will probably slip down to the 2 seed here before the tournament starts. The number 1 seed Nolf is coming off injury, so we could see a potential upset there at 157 in the finals.
Next up at 165, Alex Marinelli has been such a dominant force this season and has shown very little moments of weakness. His season climaxed with a 6-point move on defending national champion Vincenzo Joseph that bumped him up to the number 2 ranked wrestler in the nation. Unfortunately for Marinelli, the number 1 wrestler, Illinois' Isaiah Martinez, will get the edge in the Big Ten tournament, leaving Marinelli with the number 2 seed.
Marinelli's just so physical and strong here. See him whip over Skylar St. John with that cow catcher. And finally, Iowa's heavyweight, all 285 pounds of him, Sam Stoll. Stoll received the 4th seed in the tournament, right behind Michigan's Adam Kuhn, Ohio State's Kyle Snyder, and Penn State's Nick Neville. And even though Stoll is only seeded 4th, it is heavyweight, which means that anything can happen.
And of course, Iowa's head coach Tom Brands is fired up for the tournament.
Brands himself was a 3-time Big Ten tournament champion for Iowa back in the day and hopes to bring at least that many gold medals home with him this year.
This is the next step in all of these guys' career, regardless of whether it's the first time or the last time or the second time or the third time. And Sorensen, it's his last chance. And, you know, you said 5 guys, it's their first chance. So regardless of where you're at, it's important. You know what? The stressors that are involved as an individual athlete getting ready to go every time, it should make you stronger going into the level of competition that we're going into, and that's how I look at it.
Gotta love Tom Brands. All right, now before we leave, Jim, how about some predictions for those top 5 wrestlers we named earlier? Who you got at 125?
Spencer Lee, easy. No way anyone is standing in his way.
I've got to agree. If he can make it past Tomasello again like he did earlier this year, I don't think he'll have a problem with Rutgers' Nick Suriano in the finals. Moving on now to 149.
I've got Penn State's 2-time national champion winning this one. Zane Rutherford is a beast.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Rutherford over Iowa's Brandon Sorensen. Rutherford dominated Sorensen in their match earlier this year, and I don't think he has it in him to stop the Zane train.
157 is going to be a lot of fun. If I had to bet, I'd put my money on Kemmerer rising to the top of the podium, especially after an injured Nolf has to work through a 2-day tournament.
That's right. At 157, I'm going to go with the Nittany Lion, though, because Kemmerer's never been able to close that gap there. He's coming off an injury, so we might see an upset if he's not at his peak form, but I'm still going to go with Nolf on this one.
At 165, I honestly see Alex Marinelli rise into the top. He's been physical, he's been determined, but even so, I'm excited to see this one play out.
That's right. Marinelli is one of the most physical wrestlers I've ever seen. Nothing has stopped him yet this season, and I don't expect anything to get in his way now. He matches up well with Martinez, and he can handle the types of wrestlers who like to shoot from space like Martinez and Joseph from Penn State.
In a 2-day tournament, I am putting all of my marbles on Buckeye Kyle Snyder to win it at heavyweight.
Come on, no-brainer. He's an Olympic champion for Pete's sake. He's not losing twice. As far as Iowa's Sam Stoll is concerned, I see him likely taking home the bronze in this one. I think he can beat anyone in the field except for, obviously, Snyder and Adam Kuhn from Michigan. That's all we have in the sports studio today. We'll have more from the Big Ten tournament next week. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, guys. And for DITV, I'm Kaylin Cluck.
And I'm Sydney Zetz. Have a great day, Hawkeyes.